Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our new edition of the Hindu Mediji. Let us start with. They have a one-page science page before the front page itself. So that's a regarding cell-free DNA promises to transform how we find diseases in advance. Cell-free DNA. What is cell-free DNA? We know that within genome DNA is there packed in cells, but there are some nucleic acid that are in the body fluids that are being released or damaged cell or other regions. They are fragments of nucleic acids being found in the body fluids. So it is known for some time, but now things are after the genome sequencing. Technology became reliable and affordable, and things are now coming. So this cell-free this cell-free DNA has lots of advantages, especially in prenatal non-invasive. That's known as non-invasive prenatal testing, that it can diagnose a number of sampling of the blood itself can lead to genome sequencing, and by finding the cell-free DNA, one can go for further and Down syndrome, Alzheimer's or any other diseases could be found by analysis of it. Apart from that, even cancer, in lung cancer and other cases has been diagnosed, and early detection is possible through this cell-free DNA. So this is the one article, that is a beautiful article. Another front page starts with the Supreme Court bench, a 3-judge bench led by CJI Chandrachud is hearing the petitions filed by Kuki Jumo community regarding the violence and mayhem and things that has happened, that are continued unabated. So here the community was represented by Kapil Sibbal and Indra Jaising, Brinda Gruber and others were also there in for the from the CGI said that Attorney General was there, Solicitor General was representing the state, and the lawyer represented Sushma Swaraj's daughter Bansuri Swaraj was representing the Meeti community, and what she presented that violence against women are rampant in West Bengal, Rajasthan, Chhattisgarh, like states also. So the daughters of India should be taken care of, measures should be taken so that daughters of India could be done. Whereas CJI said that it doesn't mean that we are now focusing on money. We do accept that violence against women do occur in other states, but that doesn't mean you cannot equate with the violence in Manipur. So Kuki Jomo, appearing for the counsel for Kuki Jomo, they said they don't have trust in local police, they don't even have a trust in CBI also. So this bench should establish a SIT, a special investigation team, SIT monitored by Supreme Court, and that should constitute the female judges and civil rights women activists. And CJI also said that justice should reach at the doorstep of the victim. So one of the reasons, and today again there will be hearing at 2 p.m. and there are 6,000 FIRs have been filed, and he has asked for detailing of all these, how many of them are zero FIR filed, how many are related to arson, how many of them are related to violence against women, rape and molestation cases, murder. So segregation of those FIRs district wise, and what sort of actions being taken by the police. The CJI also asked that the incident, the video that went viral of the May 3 incident, May 4 or May 3 incident, why it took so many days to file a zero FIR, and why it take further delay to report final FIR and reporting to magistrate. So things are there. Manipur issue. Then another in I will I would like to slightly detail the science part. The essay, that is a very beautiful essay that I have mentioned, self-free DNA promises to transform how we find diseases in advance. The major thing that we have to remember is that you should know that what is the self-free what is the self-free DNA? It's basically fragments of nucleic acids found in the body fluids. Okay, DNA is found in cells. You know, you have studied in class 9, 10th. You know it very well that DNA is found in the cells as a packaged form chromosome. So now it says that those due to decay of the cell or some other regions, some nucleic acids are released, and the fragments of nucleic acid is found in the body fluids. So through that one can go for number of advantages. It can be after making a genome sequencing very practical and feasible for the test. It has been made that in case of prenatal, non-invasive prenatal testing, that gives lots of information in the early stages of pregnancy regarding the child, so it can be taken care of. Apart from that, in case of detection of cancer also it can be very helpful. So basically we can say that it's a sort of, it can be used as a preventive measure for lots of deadly diseases including Alzheimer's and other things like that. So you must read this, although for humanities students it may bit appear tough, but go for it because it's very much relevant, and basic science you have, cell structure you have studied in class 9, 10th. So now we come to the our spotlight section. It's a basically drought situation prevailing in Andhra Pradesh. You may read there is a drought prevailing in Andhra Pradesh, and how the tenant farmers, marginal farmer, peasants pay dearly for having taken money from money lenders and other unreliable sources to cultivate, and things did not come up due to drought conditions, having less rainfall, and they migrate to cities. They are forced to migrate to cities because the compensation paid for crop insurance compensations are paid to the legally owner, the farmers, those who legally own the land, those who are tenant, marginal or peasant farmers, those who are working on the farms. They are very much, their livelihood is very much destroyed by drought like conditions, monsoon failure, and so they are forced to migrate to cities. Then we have in editorial section, we have article on two editorial that we have, official editorial that we call. The first one is the cheap tactic, that's another one in the over the borderline. First we take the cheap tactic, that is the pitch to draw in semiconductor players must go beyond incentives. You are aware of that recent visit of Prime Minister of India in the US has led to the signing of an agreement to Micron. That's a very big chip maker company, semiconductor chip maker company, regarding investment in Gujarat. Before that, Vedanta Group had, Anil Agarwal led Vedanta Group had collaborated with Foxconn Taiwan for a big major chip product, but they have come out. Foxconn has come out of the Vedanta, and now there is news here in this newspaper itself that Foxconn chief has met Tamil Nadu CM Stalin, and they have promised to have their own setup semiconductor chip plant in Kanchipuram. Government will, they have signed an intent of understanding and all, and they will be coming out of it. Here in this editorial it says that we need to de-risk our dependence on China in case of semiconductor chips. And so the chip making companies, basically there are few companies, and this Micron is American company, and America has given lots of you could say helping measures, ease of doing business measures, lots of help to companies to stabilize and focus on production in USA. Likewise, India has also offered lots of advantages and Prime Minister has accepted that we do recognize your shortcomings and will try to solve it out and come forward to invest in India and de-risk your investment, all your investment in China that has volatile political situation. So this is the emerging area. It's a very much futuristic, and India should not be only for its own production, but basically it should work as a source, as a powerhouse, as a resource place to supply chips to all over the world. Foxconn is basically Apple's supplier. Apple iPhone, you know that it's a main supplier of it, and they have their own plannings to invest in India that we have already discussed. Then another article is that over the borderline, Pakistan should stop differentiating between terrorist good and bad. You are aware of that a recent incident. It was in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, that was earlier known as Northwest Frontier Province, that is bordering Afghanistan. A human bomb blast led by Islamic State Khorasan has a death of 54 confirmed death and hundreds of injuries. And Jamaat Ulama Islam Fajlur, that is Fajl, that's a Fajlur Rahman or Dijal Rahman, earlier he was known for. He is a constituent of the ruling government of Pakistan. Prime Minister of Pakistan has and President also has very much shown sympathy for this sort of untoward incident. Basically, what is happening in Pakistan? Why the article says that differentiating between good and bad terrorists? It is the fact that you know the history of Pakistan. They have used terrorism as a sort of a strategy. Earlier, when communist regime came in Afghanistan, they trained mujahideen with the help of US. They trained mujahideen. When the regime fallen and Taliban took over the government, they were active supporter. Once Taliban became in the radar of US and they were removed from the Afghanistan, they took shelter in Pakistan. So what happened basically that Pakistan had a duopolistic tendency that in one hand they were helping US to curb Taliban, and another they were sheltering Taliban leaders. And that was led to the final overtaking of the Kabul government by Taliban when US had to evacuate their forces. And it is now Taliban, Afghanistan government is led by Taliban rulers, those were sheltered by Pakistan already. Now boldened by the Taliban's success in Afghanistan, Pakistan part of Taliban, Pakistan. Okay, so Pakistan part of the Taliban are also very much against the state, that is against the Pakistan. And this IS, Islamic State Khorasan, that is the biggest enemy of Taliban, Afghanistan, as well as Pakistan Taliban also. So they are known to attack the related constituents of Afghanistan Taliban, whoever they find, and they have cordial relation. Fazlur Rahman was a very much active and powerful leader. He was not there at the time of rally, but other leaders were there and they died. So now thing is that one side we have Islamic State of Khorasan that is fighting Afghan Taliban as well as Pakistan Taliban as well, and we have one wing of this one. So this attack on Jamaat Ulama Islam Fajlur rally in Northwest Frontier Province, that was earlier known as, now it's in Pakhtunkhwa, okay, Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. It's a district Khar, outer skirt of its bordering Afghanistan. The rally has been taken very much serious. So now it's the thing is that heat is being felt by Pakistan itself, because those whom they trained for ulterior motives and purposes, now they are coming home to roost. So it's one of the article. Then we have one article, one good article we can say that in the major article of the editorial section is that in article 370 it says regarding you know that constitution bench hearing is going to start from 2nd August, that is tomorrow onwards. Okay, so Constitution Bench hearing on abolition of Article 370. So this article goes into background of what's Article 370 and what are the measures, what are the issues that will be discussed in the. Because see, Supreme Court of India has already made it clear that we are not going to look into the consequences of abrogation of Article 370 in Jammu and Kashmir. Because what happened that abrogation of Article 370 and further Jammu and Kashmir was divided into two UT, Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh. So this article basically deals with that whether it's ultra virus, not ultra virus. Okay. Ultravirus means ULTRA, ultra VIRES, ultravirus. Okay, it means simply just it's that whether the authorities, those who have indulged in, and the method that has been applied to abrogate the Article 370 meets the legal conditions or not. Now go into the little bit background. As we know that Government of India, when India became independent, the Indian Independence Act 1947, through which India became an independent sovereign country, and that time Constituent Assembly accepted Government of India Act 1935 as the interim constitution. So that India became republic in 1950 when our own constitution was implemented. Till that time, Government of India Act 1935 worked as an interim constitution. So it says that further and the princely states were given accession happened, but instrument of accession with Jammu and Kashmir was something special, and there was Article 370 was drafted for the sole purpose that sole purpose of like communication, defense and foreign affairs will be looked after by the central government, and rest of other issues will be there for the state to decide. Even within the Article 370, it is mentioned that in case of abrogating this, in case of making it nullified, what you have to do is that the Constituent Assembly itself has to approve of it. Without, you have to take permission of Constituent Assembly of the state. Now what happened after in Jammu and Kashmir, their own constitution came into power in 1957. Once it came into power, the Constituent Assembly was dissolved. Now the wording in the Article 370 regarding the dissolution of it, the removing of it, is that the Constituent Assembly should be discussed. Now there is no Constituent Assembly. So what happened that Government of India has amended Article 367. Okay, and through it's a 367, that is part 19 of the Constitution. Okay, part 19 of the Constitution, and it's Article 367, where it has amended it to suit that legislative Constituent Assembly and Legislative Assembly are the same, treated as the same. Now, the issue of legality that will be looked by, and we will watch it, the discourse on the, when the hearing will start tomorrow, regarding that at the time of abrogation of Article 370, Government of Jammu Kashmir was led by Governor. And there was President rule in Jammu and Kashmir, and it was led by Governor. So there was no Constituent Assembly or no Legislative Assembly. State representation was not there. So Governor acts as a Constituent Assembly or Legislative Assembly. So Governor's power to give assent to central's. What happened that central government did not interfere with Article 370 itself, because within the Article 370 it mandates that in order to nullify it, you have to go through the Constituent Assembly of the state, and their assent is needed. So they did not touch Article 370. They have amended Article 367, and they have inserted a clause, and thereby making it nugatory. this Article 370 in Jammu and Kashmir, and this administration decision has taken place. So what we see that Article 370 Constitution bench and legality of ultra virus, it is or not, and so we will go for it, and what is the history and background. So good article is written by Madras High Court advocate, so you should go through it. Next we have articles on hybrid EV imperative. The hybrid EV, electric vehicles, you know it very well that electric vehicles that use battery and the article has shown that since it has own bottlenecks, infrastructure problems to go completely electric vehicle mode, because we need charging points, charging stations, and time should be less to charge, so that only people will buy vehicles for because generally it's not America that they have one vehicle for city traffic, another SUV for intercity travel. So what we find that here in India people have the one vehicle, the same working for that. So long range movement of vehicle is only possible if we have the charging points and EV. So this new concept of hybrid EV, that is means IC engines, internal combustion engine, and plus electric vehicles, both are there. So in case of vice versa it works, and it has futuristic trade, and it's a if net zero target that India has set, it's a one of the major, you could say, initiative if we emphasize on effectiveness of electric vehicles, and hybrid electric vehicles is the first stage to jump to complete electric vehicles format. Then we have one article is on ransomware. You know it very well, virus or ransomware, that they will hack your systems and take ransom from you. So it's a Akira ransomware. Computer Emergency Response Team of India has warned Microsoft and Linux devices that it's a very much lethal ransomware Akira, because they leave a dot Akira. After taking out data, they encrypt it, and what happens that once you want to have it back, they will ask for double ransom, because they will de-encryption they will do and provide it. So it's a sort of advisory that we shall maintain internet hygiene and proper system of check and balance and computer software safety, so that to avoid this. Right now this is creating havoc in US, so it may happen anywhere, and for that we need to be more and more careful. So this is the one of the Akira ransomware. Then we have other news. We can say that the same Sri Lankan envoy bats for land connectivity and other measures that are being there. Then we have toll Rajesh to 54 in suicide blast at political convention in Pakistan, that we have already discussed in the editorial section. Then we have Myanmar junta, Burma, Abanebo, Myanmar junta, military rulers are known as junta. Myanmar junta extend a state of emergency for 6 months more. So it means there is no hope of election right now. As we know that Aung San Suu Kyi is incarcerated by junta, they are not allowing her party to form the government, because she has the absolute majority in a democratic setup, but military take over the state. So that's the brief assessment from me for today's. It's better to read yourself, and it will be helpful, and give me suggestions in order to make it more useful and all. Thank you very much.